Let's go to Mali, where a new constitution took effect on Saturday. The Electoral Authority says 97% of the referendum votes were cast in favor of the changes last month. Turnout was, however, put at 38% in the landlocked Sahel country. A number of petitions lodged with the Constitutional Court were rejected. Opponents of the plan believe the vote was designed to keep the military leaders in power beyond the presidential election scheduled for February 2024. This is despite the military leaders' initial commitment to hand over to civilians after the election. The new constitution seeks to strengthen the role of the president. The country is struggling with an 11-year insurgency. Well, let's now discuss this further with our guest, Ovigwe Egwegu. He's a policy analyst at Development Reimagined. He's joining us via Zoom from Ankara in Turkey. Ovigwe, thank you for joining us on the program today. So what is the biggest single transformation the new constitution is going to create in Mali's governance and electoral system? And how are the various parties reacting to those changes?
Yeah, thank you for having me. First of all, I think we have to really look at the constitution for the major changes that were made beyond just a constitution of power in the presidency. Yes, that is one component or one outcome, but there are very key, long-standing issues that have to do with the Malian state itself that were addressed in this new constitution. You may recall this is the fourth, Mali is now in its fourth republic after 4 failed attempts. In 1999 they tried to get a new constitution, 2011, 2017, and 2019. So the fact that they were able to do this now, in and of itself, is a success. But however, if we look at some key changes, for instance, there are 2 new administrative regions that were created in the north. Now, this is in line with the commitment to decentralization that Mali actually agreed to in the OJAS process, which led to the 2015 agreement, with rebels in the north. And also, there's an independent court of auditors that will now be created. Again, this is another international commitment that Mali has not been able to fulfill since the year 2000, where the West African Economic and Monetary Union required that all member states establish an independent court of auditors. Then, of course, there are other issues around term limits, which is now 5-year terms, and a president can hold office for maximum of 2 terms. So there are several changes just beyond, of course, the issue of power being concentrated in the presidency, because this is now a full switch from a semi-presidential system into a full presidential system that the new constitution, will not be implemented.
So the military leadership says the constitution will help in rebuilding Mali. Which part of the constitution do you think will be welcomed the most by the ordinary citizens, and why do you think that?
Yes, I think first and foremost, it has to really be the issue with the new administrative region, because that has been a major problem if you're following the conflict in Mali. So in another part of the country, you have the Azawad movement, which you could call like a rebel movement that's been rebelling against the Malian state. They wanted more autonomy. This is really at the core of the long-term issues, that have been plaguing Malian security and destabilization. So now with the new constitution, there will now be 2 new administrative regions in the north, and the leaders of these regions will be elected by people, in that region. So that the question of the semi-autonomy or whatever powers that those parts of the country want, they are going to get that under this new constitution, which they've been saying that the Malian government agreed to since 2015, but they refused to fulfill. But now with this, they're going to get that. Then also, of course, there's the issue of the independent court of auditors, which is going to be very important in looking at how Mali, manages its finances. And the country is going to remain secular, and they also, of course, this has been a problem for some part of the Malian population, like the Malian League of Imams. They didn't want a secular state. Maybe they wanted more of an Islamic state, but these people voted for a secular state also.